she can do that.
I can. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for stopping by the fan page. Today we're going to talk about patience. And I think of myself with patience, and I have tended to be in my life a pretty impatient person. And it's only of late that I have developed patience. And it's much nicer to be patient. And the way I do that is I kind of do a standing meditation when I'm getting really impatient about something, like standing in line waiting, or a driver not going the speed limit, at least, if not 5 miles over. And it's just, I find it a much more pleasant way for me to be. And it took many years for me to be able to get to that point. Have any of the rest of you dealt with problems with patience?
I think patience has a little bit to do with perseverance, as far as being willing to wait for the end result to happen. Patience, you're right, you're stymied because you can't do anything about it. You have to wait for whatever. Wait for somebody else to do something before you can move again. And it immobilizes you and infuriates me sometimes, because I would like to move along and the other person isn't doing it.
Right, right.
Change happens slowly, and it's hard in this age of instant gratification, everything happening in a half an hour, the problems are solved, and things just don't
That's not
happen
reality.
that quickly. You
Right.
have to accept being gradual.
What do you do when you're waiting for something to happen
When
and it
you-
doesn't? I mean, how does one remain patient?
Al, you have to stop and think, why are you being blocked from getting what you want? Something or somebody is not doing what you want them to do, but you have to realize they're hurting, they're trying, and so I think that would tend to give you a little patience.
Mm-hmm. To think about the other person
Not
and what
get
they're
angry.
dealing
It
with.
doesn't help at all.
Right, right. It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't.
Well, I think basically I'm a patient person, but I wish when my children were younger I had had more patience.
Oh, I had none.
I had a lot, but sometimes not enough.
Mm.
You know?
I think of patience, the first thing that comes to mind for me is impatient. I think I have been more impatient over the years than I have been patient. And it's something I've always had to fight. And sometimes my being impatient has gotten me out of a bad situation. So I found that to be good. But I always have to remind myself to be more patient.
Interesting.
How would being impatient get you out of a situation?
Well, I think of a marriage that I was in that was really bad, and for me to make the decision to leave, it was kind of an impatient decision because I just wasn't able to change anything or make it better. So I became impatient and said, this is the end. And so, but I've had to be aware.
That did take
Yeah,
courage, yeah.
it took courage. But I also realized that I made small bad decisions from being impatient, not wanting to wait for somebody else's decision, so it's been hard.
I tend to get impatient and I force things. And
yes, I've done that too.
Yes,
yeah.
and that always, or not always, but often fails.
Mm-hmm. It does,
it flops in my face. Yeah. Well, there are some thoughts about patience. Join us tomorrow and we're going to talk about acknowledgement of others.